Last week, I walked into a room that had a history, and my job as the facilitator was to make sure the group that I was working with didn't repeat the history that they had gone through. This is a team that has really been struggling. Roles bumping up against each other, lack of clarity and alignment, personality challenges that had been simmering for a while. And several months ago, they had been in a session that went sideways. Emotions took over. The room never got held. And they walked out carrying something that never got resolved. So I knew that going into this one, something had to be different, really well designed. The room had to be well held. So before we got into the retreat, a few weeks before, I met with each of them one-on-one because I wanted to know where their heads were, where their hearts were, what they were carrying into this retreat. Because you can't facilitate a room that you don't understand. And you can't meet people where they are if you haven't taken the time to find out where that is. So we built a focused agenda and held it closely throughout our time together, not rigidly, closely, so that you know where you're going and you keep the group oriented towards it, even when the conversation gets hard, even when the emotions rise, even when the pull to go sideways is strong. And they did the work. Over 2 days, this team named the tension that had been sitting between them. They identified a shared problem statement. They built a team ways of working charter together. They created built-in accountability and clear success measures, giving us something to check in with down the line. They walked out different than they walked in. And at the end of the 2 days, one of the participants said to me, Andrea, thank you so much for reading the room. You met us where we were and gently guided us when we needed guiding. And I was so grateful for that feedback because for me, that is what facilitation is all about. The root of the word facilitation is facile, which means to make easier. So our jobs as facilitators is literally to make what's hard easier, not controlling the room, reading it, not pushing people towards an outcome, guiding them gently toward their own, to create the conditions where a group of people can work together to do what they couldn't do as well on their own. And here's the leadership lesson that lives inside of that, because every leader is a facilitator. Every meeting that you lead, every difficult conversation you hold, every team discussion where you're trying to move people from where they are to something better, that's facilitation. And the question is, whether you're reading the room or just running the agenda, you can feel the difference. Reading the room means noticing what's happening underneath the words, the tension that hasn't been named, the person who's gone quiet, the moment when something lands hard and the group needs a beat before moving on to the next exercise. The difference between what people are saying and what they actually mean. So here's your reflection for today. Think about the last meeting or conversation you led. Were you reading the room or just moving through your plan? And what would it look like to slow down enough to notice what is actually happening with the people in front of you? Make the hard things easier. That's the job. And if this work resonates, if you want to build teams that can do hard things together, that's exactly the work that we do at Abundant Empowerment. So please check out our website at abundantempowerment.com. We would love to work with you. What a great way to take care of yourself and ultimately each other.